It's Friday, June 28th, and it's episode 200. Today I sit down with Perry Kankam and we talk about his career. If you'd like to get to know him better, please listen to this podcast. Thanks for listening. Hi, and welcome to the Work Together Better podcast. This is your host, Danny Ryan. This is ThreeWill's official podcast about enterprise collaboration, how people, process, and technology combine to help organizations, departments, and teams work together better. Here with Perry Kankam. Am I saying that right? Did I get that right?
Yeah, you got it.
Let's get that started out, right?
Yeah.
Let's get this whole thing started out. Getting to know him a little bit better, and just want to spend a little bit of time with him to get some background on his career and get to know maybe some of his hobbies and stuff that he likes to do. Thank you for doing it. You didn't have to do this, so because you are certified, yes. What are you certified in? Let's get that started.
MCSD, Microsoft Certified Solutions Developer.
Excellent.
Yep.
How'd the studying for that go? Was it difficult, easy? Was it?
Yeah,
what was your experience?
It was 3 exams. First one, none of them were easy, but the second one was super tough because I had to take that one twice. And then the third one, surprisingly, I got it right the first time. But yeah, studying for that was a whole nother ball game.
So what were the exams What were each of the exams on? Was it on the language or was it?
They were all languages. First one they were more specific. First one was like CSS, JavaScript, HTML stuff, which normally sound like the most simple, but Microsoft just knows how to make it not simple. But the second one was language 2. Third one was more application, if I remember correctly, more Azure stuff and whatnot. So it was studying for that was pretty vague because there was no, and Azure is completely new to me too. So the second two were like super tough to study for. But
nice. Well, you feel like you're in better shape now on upcoming projects. Then.
Yeah,
you got some exposure to some things you want to go do on projects.
Definitely. And I actually did work with Chris on something that actually. I had to use something that I studied on an exam. I obviously don't remember everything I studied, but I have a broad idea of most of the things. And when it comes to the time to use them, it would just be a quick brush up. So
so you can refer back to it
Definitely.
And go back to it, but you know where to look for it.
Exactly.
Yeah. I think some of those exams are just good to give you a sort of a broad sweep of different things that you might not know about unless you went out and studied for it.
Yeah, because it was a lot, probably over 80 different topics total. So
wow,
it's a lot.
Wow.
Our study guides looked different. It was a lot of topics for each of them. It was always a bunch of topics that we had to go through, and I had to go through personally. So there's no way I can remember all of that. But for what I currently it was like 5 days ago actually. 4 or 5 days ago.
Nice.
And I actually had to do something, creating a model, and that was cool.
Awesome. Awesome.
Yeah.
So let's jump back in time. Way back when. What'd you study in school? Why'd you study it? What were you hoping to be when you grew up?
So actually growing up, I wanted to be a pilot. I'm still gonna do it, but it's just gonna be private.
Nice.
But I had an uncle who became a network engineer. And when I was younger, I'm one of 5 boys. I was always the one that would always go steal a phone, play with it, fix a phone when it gets broken. So it was like tech was a part of it, but my family wasn't really exposed to too much technology. And I lived in Ghana for 17 years, so Ghana, West Africa. And my family was not too exposed to tech. We didn't know. We never thought about that side of things, that it could be lucrative and it's actually a good career path. Because mostly in Ghana, most of my family, most of the successful people in my family are always entrepreneurs. So they always start something, or they're doing something business related, working in a bank or something. Mm-hmm. So we just never had that much knowledge about the whole career path of an IT, whatever tech you do. So my uncle went to school in England, and he graduated, and he had a really good job, and he started his company, and he was a network engineer. So that really caught my eye, and that caught my mom's eye too. So obviously, because he was making a lot of money. So I had a talk with him. I didn't really like the network path. I was super young at that time, so I did some research, and when it was time for college, my older brother was already in Wisconsin. That's where I went for college, unfortunately.
Why, unfortunately? Because it's cold up there?
Yes, there's too much going on in Wisconsin. But no, I enjoy myself. I'm joking about that. I think wherever you end up in life, the people you have around you always make or break it. So, when it was time to come to college, it was between, my brother was already doing business, so that was probably what I would have done, just to say I went to college, honestly. But because he was already doing that, I was a second, and it wouldn't make sense to go do the same thing he was doing. Mm-hmm. So I got the list of majors I could select from, and I seen computer science, and I was like, oh, let me do this.
Nice.
And my brother tried to scare me off. He told me it involved a lot of math, and I was like, I don't know. I'll just play it by the day, see how it goes. Mm-hmm. And yeah, that's how computer science came about. So yeah, I had wanted to be a pilot till like I was 13, 14, and then it just switched after that.
Nice. Mm-hmm. Nice. And so then that was nice. So your brother, where are you age-wise with you said you have 5 brothers?
Yep. 5.
Were you in the middle or in the end, or where are you?
I'm the second. First one's birthday is actually tomorrow. He turns 29 tomorrow. I turned 25 last month, so it's about 4 years.
Nice.
Give or take. The one after me is 2 years. Every one down is 2 years, except the last one, which is like another 5 years.
Any of your other family here in the States at all?
We're spread out all over my older brother's in San Diego. He's quality assurance. He's QA. Mm-hmm. Me, I'm here. The third is in Wisconsin. He's in college right now, doing biology. The third is in China. The fourth is in Wisconsin. Okay. The third is in China. Yeah, I saw your face. China. Yeah, China.
China's not Wisconsin.
Yeah, the third is in China. He's doing civil engineering in China. He just wanted something different. I don't know why or how he got to China, but he loves it there. So I should be visiting him. He's been there for a while, actually, but I've just been procrastinating because those flights are so long.
Well, kudos to your parents. Sounds like you guys are all sort of
and the fourth, the last one is in Ghana. He's still in Ghana. He just turned 15, so he's super young.
Wow.
But yeah, he should be joining soon. But I don't think he wants to go to China. He's going to be here.
Awesome. So you end up in Wisconsin getting a computer science degree.
Right.
What did you end up doing after that?
So after Wisconsin, it was like a little curse, I guess. In Wisconsin, like everybody just stayed after college. They would talk so much about how it was cold and how they wanted to leave. But I guess it was just a lot of fear and just getting up and going. Yeah. So my older brother stayed. Everyone I know who was older than me, all the friends I had in college, never moved, but they all talked about it. So graduating college in 2015 of May, I actually had an offer to stay in Wisconsin. And I didn't have a job yet in Atlanta, but I knew I wanted to move. So around like, I graduated, I think like mid-May of 2015. So around like May 3rd, I magically got an interview, and it was a full interview on Skype. I didn't have to be in Georgia or anything. So that meant something. And yeah, I went through with that, and I got an offer. And the offer in Wisconsin was like a lot more. So I felt like it was just God tested my endurance and how much I really wanted to leave. So obviously my mom wanted me to stay because it was more money. My brother thought it was a good idea. Everybody wanted me to stay because I didn't know one soul in Atlanta.
What attracted you to why Atlanta?
So I feel like Atlanta is like the perfect spot in America because it was between LA and Atlanta. There are a lot of natural disasters in LA, so that drawed me back a little bit. I feel like Atlanta is like, I know there are tornadoes, but I've not experienced anything.
Yeah.
I've been here 4 years, and it gets cold, but it's not cold. It's not crazy. It's like it's very diverse. It's a lot of opportunities here.
Yeah.
And at that time, I had read an article about how there are going to be tax breaks, so a lot of companies were moving and bringing their headquarters down to Atlanta.
Yeah.
So it was like perfect timing. So I was like, if I'm doing tech, every company has a tech part of it. So why not just look into this market? LA is a little overcrowded. Why not look into Atlanta's market and see what you can get out of there? So I visited in 2013 for my brother's birthday. Obviously, it was just for fun, nothing crazy. Just come see what it was like, because my brother also wanted to move to Atlanta after college, but he never did. But pretty much loved it. Very different from Wisconsin when I first came here. Although I was in a really tight college budget, it was still really fun, and I had a great time. So I felt like besides all those opportunities that would come after college because of the various research I had done, I just felt like there was a balance of everything. I can have some fun. I can get serious. I can make money. I can meet great people. Yeah. It was like perfect for me. So yeah, Atlanta just seemed right, and my soul would just not leave it alone. So I had just turned, when I graduated, I had just turned 21. So I was young. So my mom was a little worried about me moving, not knowing anybody here. And I just told her, worst case scenario, I'll just come back if it doesn't work.
Sure.
So yeah, moved to Atlanta, in-town suite in Norcross, roaches, cigarette smelling mattresses. It was tedious. It was very different from anything I was ever used to, and I think that was probably the lowest point of my life so far. Not so far. I hope that's the lowest point of my life. I don't ever want to reach that point again. But I've always grown around people. We're 5 boys growing up with like the age differences were not too huge. So I've always been around people. Going to college, I had a lot of friends. But over here, it was like the first time I was really alone. And I mean like really alone. Like the only friend I had was the guy at the reception at the hotel. Well, not really a hotel, but yeah, in-town suites, if you know what that is. Extended stay. Sure. And yeah, it was very sanity testing, because I would go to work, come home, and just be in those 4 corners. It was crazy. It was very different for me. So yeah, I was there for like a whole month.
Moving down here, did you feel like, I'd like to say that at least in Atlanta and the South, that people are at least friendly to you? Did you notice any difference as far as how you were treated when you came down here at all? Or what was when you say it was different down here, what were some of the differences that you felt?
So besides the most outstanding one, which is the weather, the accent, it was very different. I had to get used to that. People had to repeat themselves a lot of times. Because coming to America, I thought everybody spoke the same, but it's really not. New York and Atlanta is a whole different ballgame. But that was another thing. I felt like people treating me not necessarily nice. I just felt like people have a little more time for you here. Okay. Like if they ask how your day's going, they actually don't mind hearing how your day's going if they have the time. Yeah. But in Wisconsin, it's just like a greeting. Like it's a small city, and that's another thing I like here. It's not a small city. And in Wisconsin, you would just see the same faces like a few times, and I wasn't used to that. I didn't really like that. But yeah, main difference for sure, weather, which I really love. Because it reminds me of the weather back home in the summertime. Yeah, accents and opportunities for sure. But yeah, it was very, very daunting. When my first week here, I was like a week after I was packing to go back. But yeah, I just only stayed because I just didn't want to hear any "I told you so." That was really that was really the only reason. I just wanted to prove them wrong, because everybody, literally everyone who had graduated that I knew, never moved before. So they all told me so.
Yeah.
So I would have had a lot of those in my face. So that definitely was not going to happen. So that's definitely, I'm glad I put myself in that situation because I really would have moved back.
Now, you've been doing some pretty cool projects from what I understand, and started to, I have to get this whole thing kicked off with, give you, your license plate, it has XML on it. Okay, I got to get a backstory on that. Tell me about that, and then I want to go into maybe some projects and some stuff that you've been excited about doing recently.
Sure. So back to my uncle, which is probably definitely my first mentor. He still is. Like, I really hold him to really high standards in my life. So after I learned the whole stuff about tech and whatnot, while selecting my major for college, I was a little older. That by then, I was doing more research, and I didn't even know like computers use languages or anything. So one of the first things I came across, the first language I came across with the little red highlights and everything was XML. And I just felt like it looked cool. And if I ever understood this, I will be one of those cool guys. So it's just, that was like really one of the things that I was like,
nice.
This looks difficult, but I feel like if I make it a challenge to actually understand this one day, I feel like I would be so cool. So yeah, that's really where XML came from.
Mr.
So when
I'll just call you Mr. XML.
When it was time to get a license plate, I was like, why not? Why not make it a monumental
right?
piece?
Like when you're looking
for
domain names, you always have to check to see if it's available.
Yeah.
And
I was really surprised it was available.
So for people driving around Atlanta, if you are behind a car that the license plate is XML, we now know who it is. That's awesome. So recent projects. What are some of the? Tell me some fun stuff you've been working on, like project work that you've been enjoying doing recently.
Sure. One of the not too recent but pretty different that I really enjoyed was a huge telecom Fortune 500 company, and we had to. Well, I was the only developer on that project, so I had to create some Angular forms for the internal services, pretty much. And it was from scratch for Angular 2, and I had to integrate that into their SharePoint and create some workflows and make sure it worked with it and everything. That was last year. That was a big project. It took a while. It was a lot of learning to do while I was going. A lot of help from people who, obviously I was the only developer, so the lead helped a lot, and even like random people around who I'll just ask for help. Like Matthew helped me a lot on that project.
Nice.
Because he is very fluent in Angular. So I learned Angular by myself. Most other languages I know I self-tutored, and it's different when you have to actually apply it to real life projects. So it takes a little explanation. Then I'm like, oh yeah, I remember that. Then I can get it done. So now I'm learning that part of things so that I don't have to do too much asking. But when I need to, there's always someone available. So the teamwork here is amazing. Another project I am currently working on is another Fortune 500 company, payroll company, which it's a Jive migration, but I'm doing the utility tool. I'm adding some more features to it so that we can migrate. For example, they want to migrate user bookmarks. We don't currently do that. So I'm adding some more features to the tool so we can migrate user bookmarks. I have done a lot of utility tool work. And this utility tool is for migrating from Jive to SharePoint. I've done a lot of that. I'm currently doing that for this company I'm talking about. I've also done it. My past two projects was for that utility tool. So I've played and doubled a lot in there. I've done a lot of different things, like adding new features, maintaining, actually changing database stuff, doing a lot of database things, adding database models. And yeah, the last project was actually for a company in France, very different. Very huge company. I've seen them a lot around after
now
that.
You notice them everywhere.
Yes, everywhere.
I was at the airport the other day and I saw their signs all over the place.
I seen it in Spain. I seen it everywhere. So that's cool.
Yes.
So every time I'm with my friends and we spot one, like, I didn't work for them. So that is cool. And that was also a jive to SharePoint.
Yeah.
Chris has been a monumental piece. Chris and Kirk with the whole I don't know if I can name drop in this.
Sure, you can absolutely. Yeah,
especially
if you're saying nice things. If you're saying mean things, you probably should.
those are a few of the. I mean, everybody has helped, but Chris, Kirk, Caroline, when my very first project getting me up to speed and making me feel comfortable in the whole ThreeWill environment.
That's awesome,
right? That last project was another amazing one. I think I've done probably 5, no, not 5, definitely more than 5. Now I've been pulled on projects midway. I've also worked on a trucking companies. It was a small project that I did in May, which was basically some SharePoint tweaks and adding some automation to make things work smoother and basically save them time, so they don't have to do all the manual work.
Kudos to you for not only you're picking up the technology, but you're doing it in a consulting function, which adds a little. It's difficult, right? You have
different.
To stay. It's
thank you.
But you're that's awesome. And the types of companies and situations you're also, that's huge. You're because there's a difference. It's nice to get to build like line of business sort of applications that small teams need, but then you're also getting some of the what I would classify as like product development type of things where you're building out the utility, and it's like, how do we do this so it's not just going to work for one client, but it's also repeatable for upcoming projects. That's awesome. And part of why I've just been hearing such, part of Austin and my job is just listening to what's going on inside of ThreeWill.
Right.
We hear your name coming up, and it's just great to hear you taking on things.
Thank you.
And doing such a great job. We love having you here, and appreciate you taking the time just this will give a chance for people to get to know you a little bit better.
Right. Apparently I don't talk enough. So.
No, I mean, actually,
no, I agree with
everybody is, you know how it is. Everybody's all about taking care of business.
Exactly. Right.
But just getting to know a little bit about your background you're this environment that we're in, we try to create an environment where people do get the chance to not only work together and do great things together, but also it feels a little bit, we want it to be a little bit like a family type of environment where we get to know the whole person and not just what you're doing on projects. So we love having you here. Thanks. Congratulations on all you've done so far.
Thank you so much.
And you're beyond XML. You realize that. You're doing, now you're going to check for Angular, or you're going to check for React, or what's the next plate that you're going to get?
I either need a longer plate or a lot more cars.
You should just start putting bumper stickers on the back of the car, like all the different technologies you pick up. That's like your status symbol, right? You got put all the different technologies you're picking up on the back of your car.
Yeah, I have picked up a lot so far since I've been here, for sure. Before we wrap up here, I just wanted to give a shout out to Will. He's been he has done a lot for me at ThreeWill, from getting me a lot of knowledge to make things easy and smooth for me, and also I've worked with him on a few projects and he was lead, and he's just always been there, and whenever I needed help he was always there to deliver. Pete has also been, we all know Pete is the man, so and I just wanted to make sure that I mentioned those two people in addition to the ones that I did. And if there are no other names here, everybody's just been great. The teamwork's amazing. I know I'm missing a name or two, but yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you for taking the time to do this. Thank you everybody for listening, and have a wonderful day. Bye-bye. Bye. Thank you for listening to the Work Together Better podcast. We're available on SoundCloud, iTunes, Stitcher, and TuneIn. If you're looking for a partner to help you craft a modern digital workplace on the Microsoft Cloud, please come by and see us at ThreeWill.com. That's the number 3 spelled out, WILL.com. Thank you and have a great day.